Hey everyone, so today I want to talk about Hidden Killers of the Victorian Home, which was a programme on BBC4 and it is currently on iPlayer. I guess the title here is pretty self-explanatory. The documentary looks at hidden killers in the Victorian home. As the consumer culture grew during the Victorian period, there were a lot of problems which led to ill health, which I guess is kind of common knowledge. Most of us tend to know that there were Victorian products which had poison in them, essentially. But I didn't realise to what extent this was, and this programme outlines a lot of the things that most households owned that led to ill health. And we're not just talking a cough or a sore eyes or something, we're talking death. And I think that's quite a fascinating concept for a documentary. The things that killed the Victorians that were in their homes all the time. And it really kind of makes you think, like when I was watching this, I was looking around my room thinking, in 100 years time, 200 years time, what are they going to uncover that was in my room that was killing me? And it's kind of scary in that sense. So I think that the point behind this is very interesting. So Dr. Suzannah Lipscomb takes us through various different features and objects within the households that caused quite a lot of issues. Some of them take up a bit too much time. For example, the first two you have wallpaper, and then it looks at corsets, and they're over 10 minutes each, I think. And then you have smaller sections dedicated to other things, and it's a little bit more of a quick pace. But in saying that, it's still fascinating. It's only towards the last couple of minutes of the wallpaper, for example, that I started to think, can we move on now? So it's not too much of an issue, and at the same time, it's really fascinating. I'm like, nobody would ever think that 10 minutes about wallpaper would be interesting, but I was watching it thinking, my goodness, really, is this what happened? And I'm completely sucked in and completely in disbelief at what was being said. It also offers facts and figures, so it's not just making claims that it can't support. We get little snippets of newspaper articles about reports of death and where it may have came from. Information about the factories who were creating these wallpapers or the corsets, toys and things, and kind of how they were defending themselves and saying, no, we're not killing hundreds of people through arsenic poisoning, don't be stupid, of course it's not us. But of course, some things you really can't avoid and some things are really relatively obvious. And so I think the fact that we get a lot of detail is good, but perhaps just slightly less, slightly more variety in the things we were being shown would have been nice, but I cannot fault them for going into such an enthralling level of detail. Now, I don't want to say that it's scary, but there were a few moments where I was kind of like, oh, really, have they just said that? Is that really the case? And it is fear. It's a natural fear. For example, and I won't say all of the surprises along the way because it is quite surprising, but I've already said this, so I'll use it as an example. When they said the wallpaper contained arsenic, I was like, what? Like the high level of it and just how much is in it, I was gobsmacked, completely shocked. So you are watching it thinking, my goodness, this is quite terrifying, and this wasn't that long ago, in the grand scheme of things, what is killing me today? So it's a natural fear it evokes, I think. There's also some interesting images and things of kind of caricatures and illustrations of skeletal, or in fact just skeleton Victorians killing other Victorians. It's very fascinating, very interesting, very well put together. When it comes to programs like this or anything that deals with history, the atmosphere is very, very important. It has to capture that time period expertly, and it does. We have really interesting music throughout it at appropriate intervals, which is very good. The actual settings and the scenery, it's gorgeous. We can see the costumes look real. There are moments where you're not in the Victorian world and where you're looking at the facts and figures from modern day, but it still works and it still kind of keeps the whole theme going. So in terms of atmosphere, I'm very impressed. Do I have any complaints? No, I don't. I really don't think I do. It's an hour in length and I absolutely enjoyed it. It's not very often I'll watch a BBC4 programme just on the fact that there never seems to be anything on there that I find interesting. But this I thought was fantastic. Whether you're interested in Victorians or death, do watch it. It's really, really interesting, very well developed. You'll get a real sense of what it was like. I certainly felt that. And it really sucks you in the world, and I think it kind of creates creativity as well. Like I'm thinking, I want to go and write something now based on this, which I may or may not, I don't know. But do go and check it out. Let me know your thoughts on Hidden Killers of the Victorian Home, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!